He fought Russian hackers for 3 days straight, no sleep. That's Shashank, and you're about to hear his story. From decoding DNA patterns that inspired his work in cryptography to securing payment systems at Razorpay and now defending critical infrastructure at Google. This episode is packed with raw stories, high stake moments, and real takeaways for anyone interested in tech or security. Let's get into it.
Yeah, this conversation is very relaxed and
Sure.
we're just having fun. You're also an RITM. I don't know if people say that, but let's go with that. This first section obviously is not going up anywhere. We're probably deleting it because we'll get kicked out
Yeah.
of college immediately. Already the vibe's been set. It's a very chill conversation. There's
Yes.
obviously this is our first conversation as well, first one-on-one. So there's a
Hmm.
lot to get to know about you and you about us. So I think what people of my age would like to know from someone who's much older is what's the story? Like we can't
Much
imagine
older.
ourselves
Come on, boys.
just older,
Sure, sure. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, cut you off.
like a brother, like a brother.
Yeah, yeah. Please, good,
I'm
good correction.
I'm 21, you're 22. That's fine.
He's feeling bad, bro.
Yeah, yeah, my bad, my bad.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead, go ahead,
Our
go ahead.
first guest, and we
That's
made
fine.
him feel bad in the first 5 minutes.
Learning.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, yeah.
learning.
First steps, first steps. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's hard for us to imagine where we are going to end up in, right? In just a few years. We're going to
Right.
graduate in a year and a half. So I think for a lot of us, it's not kicked in yet that we're in college, we're going to leave college. It's going to be different from, passing 10th or passing 12th. Because all of that is somewhat similar, but in a different circumstance. It's all education, it's all academic. Even an
Yeah.
MBA or a master's program is completely different from the regular stuff that we've done till college. So I
Right.
think it's not kicked in for a lot of people, and people are not clear on that. I think you should because you're also an RIT, and because
No, I think we
we
also
listen
need
to
to
people from
mention,
IITs, right?
and we also need to mention that
Yeah,
he's from Google. So that's like one of the like
yeah.
main things we have to
True,
mention.
true,
Put up a
true.
big banner
Yeah,
and all those logos.
Yeah, we're gonna
the
cover our
thumbnail.
faces, and it's just you and then Google.
I mean, if this goes well, right, slowly I'll start my own DSA course. I'll sell it for
Oh
millions. What
God.
everyone does though.
Yeah, like neat code.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that'll work out well
I
though.
think that'll actually work out. You
Really
seem
well.
you seem like a very lovable personality. Like even on camera, you don't seem camera shy. So and you're like very, high
I
energy. I
mean,
think people would
must have
like
been
you.
all the interviews, right? So I think now,
Yeah.
Interviews. No, I think if you act like, I mean, maybe not act, if you portray yourself like this, like very jovial and all that during the interviews, it actually helps a lot. That's what I've seen. Like it's at the end of the day, it's just a human to human interaction between two people, right? So
true.
you want to
Yeah.
know, you want either your manager or whoever is taking that interview to feel comfortable around you and feel that, hey, this is someone I can trust and I can do work with. That's all that matters. Doing the technical stuff, all of that is secondary, but like this whole personality and this the way you talk is more important in interviews, at least from what
Yeah.
I've taken or what I've gone through. Is I feel like it's that adds an edge, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean, I'm saying like you just want like any company, any team, they just want someone who will be like a buddy, like a friend in their team, right? They want someone who you can always train anybody. That is the whole idea of many teams right now. You can train anyone. Anyone can, as long as they have that minimum level of intellect to an extent, they can teach you can teach anything you want, especially when this is very true whenever we take interviews of freshers or like just few years into the job. We don't care too much about technical. Say you're interviewing a manager, right? Then it's different. They need to actually have in-depth technical knowledge or whatever so that they can lead a team. For a fresher, why do you need that? As long as they are capable of learning something, googling things, it's enough. That's what matters. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know, man. I can't imagine myself being an adult, even though that's like
I mean,
very
see, honestly, right? I also never. It's not like I thought, oh, I have this job to get, and then I will build my career so and so. Never had that thought.
No,
Most
no.
people in college will not have that,
I
right?
think you also didn't have that
Yeah.
thought because if you went around telling people that from Ramaya you're going to get placed in Google at some point, people would have laughed at you.
Yeah, people would have,
True.
that
At
would have
least
happened.
people would have laughed at me because I wasn't particularly super great at coding or whatnot during college. Yeah, that's like Google, my all these fang things was not even on my list.
That's crazy.
I wanted any job that could pay and then get through. Somehow I got here, but it's uh, not saying it's not at all something you can brag about. Once you're in here, right?
Yeah,
You are in with you realize that there are another 180,000 people at Google or
yeah,
at Microsoft, right? So
yeah.
you are insignificant. Once you come into these places, you're insignificant. To outsiders, like whoever is
Yeah,
aiming to come here, they'll be like, oh wow, it's crazy. But like say a smaller startup, it's harder to get into a startup because there are
true.
only 30 people in that company. Here there are
Yeah,
180,000. So you're a small fish in a big ocean when you come to these companies. So
Yeah.
that's what happens.
That I also
That
think the like your environment is in such a way that you keep talking to other Google employees. So your perspective, maybe you may not be able to see exactly how most, I mean 99%, you're in the top 1% and the 99% of people trying to get into Google are thinking. So it's like that echo
right.
chamber. So that
True.
is
Could be. Could. Yeah. And also that the massive feeling of imposter syndrome comes like when you come to these companies that you feel like you're insignificant, you feel like you have not done anything. That's what happens because there are people here who have actually built core things in the entire internet, right? Like Hadoop and things like that, or search,
mm,
indexing, all of those things, and you
mm.
feel insignificant. Yeah, I mean, never thought I'll come here, but then it's a journey. Yeah, like for the point you said, right? Like it's very different. So in school, you know that okay, in seventh standard, right? You know, okay, 10th is my goal. After that, you know, okay,
yeah.
12th is my goal. After that, college is my goal. But after that, it's different. You can do whatever you want. There is no
There's no
set
one
boundary,
standard
right?
metric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. It's like you can get into the best company in the world and then feel like your manager might be shit and then your team might be shit and like they might torture you. All of that can happen. You can go to a small company and be very happy. Anything can happen. So it's too many unknowns at that point. That's why most people they I think it's like an inbuilt thing that they all just want to do masters because they want to feel that sense of comfort. And hey, I know how to do this. I can delay this whole inevitable thing another 2 years, and they go ahead and do that. So yeah, I also wanted to do, but couldn't. Yeah,
I mean, you don't need to as well because look where
I mean, it worked out well, right?
it worked out well.
yeah, it did work out.
So, I
To
mean,
some extent, I'm sure you have other aspirations and dreams and
yeah.
hopes and all that.
Oh yeah,
But
I
to some,
actually really wanted to get a doctorate. That's impossible now.
All right.
I
So
wanted to
oh,
be a
in
I
the
doctor.
was
Yeah,
cloud
good.
security or in computer science?
Oh, in anything. I just wanted the doctor. Yeah.
so I was just
Yeah,
saying
that
that
would be, yeah, yeah.
so that yeah
No, no, continue. Yeah.
just for our like whoever is watching and we should have asked you this earlier, but what is the thing been like? So from college, like what kind of kid were you in school and then in college and then when did you find your passion and then what changed? Was it overnight? Give us some insight into the
Oh,
timeline.
school is too far behind. I don't
Yeah,
think I
I
was
don't know if
anything
there'll
over there.
be.
Yeah, I don't think I was anything like I was just normal. I was studious, all like I was studious. I wouldn't say like I was not at
Oh,
all,
did
but
you go
yeah, I
to
was.
IISc or CBSE or state?
Uh, I was in CBSE till 10, and then I went to
Yeah,
state for 11th and 12th.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like a horrible coaching institute for IIT
I
coaching
know.
in Bangalore. You heard of expert or people know about expert, it's
Yeah.
when torture syndrome. But yeah, I was from there, and then we were all promised the comfortable seat of getting into IITs. No one got through.
Oh,
I ended up in Ramaya. good. Anyways, it was a
Yeah.
good choice. But college first sem, very bad. Like because of the expert syndrome that I like, it was always about studies, studies, studies. The minute you come to Ramaya,
You
it
want to
was
get out of
like,
it, right?
yeah, you want to
Yeah.
get out of it, and all of the Bell Road items were there. So then, ended up losing focus. But uh, and also I didn't even know how the CGPA system works, how to calculate CGPA. And when I was
Yeah.
giving the exams, I thought, hey, I'm sure to get a 9. And then I ended up getting like 6.7 or something like that. So
Oh,
second sem I did pretty well. I did the calculations right, and like, I think I got some 8 or something. And then second year went full downhill. Second year was when core computer science actually started,
mm.
and that's when like proper DSA or like what's that, algorithms
Yeah.
labs, all of those
Algorithms.
things.
Yeah.
And yeah, it went downhill for me. I couldn't understand anything, and it was not just me, it was most of the class. It's just the way that we are taught how these things is it's probably not in the most optimal way, giving it a light sense, right?
Actually, I thought that would be the same, right? So I thought that everyone would struggle after second year. But the thing is, the exams are structured in such a way that it's very easy to just memorize some certain things. You know they are going to be asked, and it's
Correct.
very easy to get marks. So I think
Correct.
that shift is there now. I don't know if it's in
Correct.
the good right direction or
I
not.
mean, see the whole the my for me the turning point for me was when I actually started to do the mini projects of sorts, like the final year
Yeah,
projects, when I actually
yeah,
got my hands into that. And like in fourth year, there was this class for security and network security. In that, we were asked to go get a research paper, any research paper, and try to implement it. And like I found this really cool paper on how you can build a encryption algorithm using the DNA sequencing of our bodies. So
Oh,
that
someone
sounds
had
so
written
cool.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was insane. Like
so-
I read the paper and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. And then I sat like all night trying to decode that, like how the different molecules bind together and make proteins. Using that algorithm, you make an encryption algorithm, and we showed it to like during the project time, and it was like amazing. And this was something that till this point, I always relied on someone else to do the projects for me because I couldn't code. But this was something like it actually interested me, and then I did it. And somehow, I don't know by what luck, I ended up in security. It's not like I was looking for a security job,
so
but I
that
ended up
one
in security.
paper was the turning point. So that's
Yes, yes. Because of
okay.
that one paper I wrote and I did that project on. This was one out of all my other projects was like on data science, machine learning, AI and all that,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
But then during the interviews also, I specifically told all the interviewers that, hey, I want a data science role. I want a data science role because there were
Mm.
multiple roles that were there, and they were just hiring like mass placements, right? And I told them I want this. But in the end, my final resume, because my resume had that one thing about security and algorithms and this, even the interviewer found that to be cool, and the hiring manager found that, hey, this is pretty interesting. So why not put him in security? That's how I ended up in security because of
Okay.
that one
So which
paper.
company was this?
I was
This
in a
was a
company
startup,
called
right?
no, no, no. It was a company called Enphase Energy. Basically, they make solar inverters. It's called a string inverter. I was the luckiest part was that I was the second security engineer for the entire world.
Entire
So
company.
yeah, entire like I used to handle from like the security from New Zealand all the way to Canada
Oh,
to the US and Canada, everything like that. So I was there were only two people in the entire team, and I was kind of lucky in a way that I got to learn a lot of things, but also you have to put in that many
a lot of
hours
work, right?
because
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
work. And
Only, yeah.
the
But so was there a DSA round? So when
uh
you,
yeah, there was a it was not a DSA round as such. It was a very normal programming round. No, not too much into, not, they
Yeah.
didn't ask like lead code, even medium or hard level. It was like easy level questions. They more focused on your projects, from at least
Yeah.
during the interviews. They were like, oh, what is this project given? They always want to understand what you have learned in that project. What is the shortcomings that you came across, how you improved it, all of that. So yeah, like whatever projects you put on your resume, make sure you know it
No. Yeah.
perfectly, or else you'll get screwed.
Yeah.
So the thing is now people actually say the opposite. They say that oh projects don't matter anymore. So in your bag, was
Hmm.
projects like super important? Obviously
Yeah,
for you it was.
every single interview I've seen, like others also go through, it's always the first cutoff is like the aptitude rounds and then the
Yeah.
coding round, right? After that, it's always about your projects. It's they want
Project.
to know how
Yeah.
what you have learned, what you have implemented, all of that. I think it's apt today also, right? I don't think the
Yeah.
interviews have changed that
It's this,
much.
yeah, it's this, and
Mhm.
yeah, Shashank. So, about your stories with Russians.
Yeah, actually,
Oh,
no, yeah. So the background to this is we were sitting in the uh, talk that you were giving us in college. In the middle of nowhere, you're like, yeah, I've stayed up all night.
Fighting
Russians have
off.
kept it. Seemed like a
so
super interesting story, but you didn't finish that there. So,
haha. So this happened at one of the companies I worked at. I won't tell where, obviously, but so I had it. It's like I was awake 72 hours, no sleep at all. Okay. We got a, so this is how security operations work. When you are an incident responder, meaning you have to contain the incident, remediate it, and then move it back to the original state, right? This is the life of an incident responder. Usually in most companies it will be handed off during shifts. Like larger companies, like say at Google, it will be like you have a 12-hour shift and then you finish that and then you write an analysis and then you let the next guy on the shift to take over that analysis. But at the companies where I worked at, it was like startup culture and it was very small. So you had to do the entire thing from
All the
starting to
shifts
end on your
continue.
own.
yeah,
On your own, right?
Until you're
So
confident that it's secure.
yes, until you have 100% surety that you are no longer under threat and
Okay.
you have kicked them out of your systems, you have to be online. And the pressure is crazy. Like, it will the whenever an incident happens, there is something called a computer emergency response team, CERT. It's There's a bunch of names, that a lot of jargon in security, but it's essentially a set of people who will be designated to start the incident response plan. And this will include like the CTO, the
oh,
board members, then your legal team, your HR team, your business, the marketing team of sorts. Because whenever an incident like this occurs, you could potentially say it's a fintech company, right? You have, say, credit cards that are going to be exposed, potentially exposed. Then you have to immediately go and release a press conference saying that, hey, this is what we are doing.
yeah,
Because if you do
Yeah.
not do this, it depends on the countries also. Especially in the US, if you do not disclose, I think $1 million, if the total value of your incident is close to $1 million, and you do not release a,
reported.
a
The
press
press.
report to
Yeah.
the SEC, if it's a listed company, especially, then you will be in deep shit. The SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission in the US, will come after your entire company shareholding, all of that. So it's a big mess over there. Even in India, also SEBI. It depends on which regulatory body is governing you, right? It could be RBI, it could be SEBI, it could be the health insurance people, all of that. So because of that, what happened is late at night, maybe 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12:30 at night, I was just checking. We were just checking some of the alerts at night, and then I see something suspicious going on. Like it looked really bad. And then, see, that's the point where you start to panic, okay? Because that I've been through this so many times that you see a small thing, and then like it inherently, because of the number of times you've seen these things, that it will snowball. And this was a situation where it snowballed too much. And
What did
basically
it start with?
so we saw basically what we observed. So in security, we have something called a security incident event monitoring tools. Okay, a SIM basically. In a SIM, you will ingest all the logs, and then those logs will you have some rules on to write on those logs, and then it will detect certain things. So one of the detectors that we had was basically to identify any communication to Tor networks.
Okay.
So if you know what Tor is, it's the dark web routing, yeah, the routing, onion routing.
Yeah.
So usually attackers will hide their IP address using Tor and then come into your systems. Right? We see a communication to that, and then we dig through the process timeline of that particular event, and we see that at the same time there is a DNS call to xmrig.com. So if you know what xmrig.com is a crypto mine. It's a crypto mining
Oh,
pool, basically, right? So
oh shit.
yeah, so basically we realized that there are there is potentially some sort of crypto mining activity that is going on,
With your
and
system.
So they're
our
trying to
system,
steal
right?
the cloud instances for crypto mining.
Yes, exactly. So the crazy thing is we observed it, and then we're not able to identify. So the thing is, right, when we have crypto miners on these systems, it is impossible for it to really run on my laptop or any corporate machines. Not
Yeah,
impossible, but very hard because of antivirus.
yeah.
Like we have advanced level antivirus like CrowdStrike, Sentinel-1, Palo Alto's XDR, all of that running on these machines. And we were surprised, how is this even possible? We thought it was a false positive. So a lot of times we see false positives in this, and then we thought it's like that. But then when we started to dig deeper into it, we realized that, hey, these servers are not even ours. Like I have not spun these servers up at all. Like, and these are like humongous servers, which is like not supposed to be in this POC tenant itself, right? It was not a production environment. It was like a test, not a like a what do you call a staging environment, you could say,
So
right?
how
And
would they,
then
what vulnerability would allow them to, infect your cloud account?
yeah, that's the crazy part, right? So we realized this. There were hundreds of them that was spun up and all of that, and then we basically on any cloud provider you can figure out who spun it up, okay?
Yeah.
And then when we start to dig deeper into that, we realize that there is one particular access key or credential that was used to spin this up, and then using that we went dug deeper and deeper and deeper and figured out that, hey, this particular user, this credentials was stolen. I cannot get into the details of
Mm.
how it got stolen,
Okay.
but it was essentially stolen. And then the after a lot of forensics, we figured out that the some guy in Russia has got hold of it. See, another thing is I cannot exactly tell it's some Igor or Gustav or something like that, because it could be some guy impersonating a Russian IP. It
Russian.
could be
Correct.
very well be that,
Yeah.
right? So it could be some guy in India
Yeah.
also
So
who did it.
yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And yeah, we had like, so whenever these situations occur, right? Yeah, the main thing is not about just it's not about deleting that key or anything like that. Once they get a foothold in your environment, they can do many other things. So this guy spun some crypto miners, but what is to say that he's not already made another account for himself, which is named as admin or something like that, or it could be
Yeah. Yeah.
some
Yeah.
generic name, right? It could be like that. And like using that, he can go and maybe put some ransomware on some other machines or encrypt all of my databases. All of those things could occur also. So it's not it's so your the main first aim is to strike a balance between business and security. And
Okay.
the decision that we came up with was, screw business. Security is very, very important right now because this is dealing with humongous amounts of, really sensitive information that is there in the environment. We basically, what we did was, there is a process to cut out entire internet access to your entire account. We flip that switch. Basically, it's a firewall rule to deny access. We flipped that switch. We broke entire the entire cloud environment.
So it
Basically,
was
there
out
was
of
no,
production
it was
completely.
completely out of, it was down basically.
Okay.
And this is something that it should come from like the top, like
Yeah.
the CEO
Yeah.
or CTO has to decide. But
Yeah.
at that point, there was no cert at that point. Cert all started because of this incident.
Okay.
This became such a huge incident that it started. But yeah, so that point, we it was me, one more guy from DevOps who was like, I don't care, I'm flipping this tonight. I don't care. He flipped it. And then whatever like consequences we had to face, we were going to face tomorrow. We didn't care. But we had to
Yeah.
inform our manager. Manager
Okay. What were
got
your
got
clients like? I mean, the people who were actually using this, who were, affected when you
No,
flipped the
but
switch.
it wasn't a
it wasn't
product.
yeah, it was on our like a staging POC type of tenant,
Okay,
right?
so there was
So it
no
was
real user.
there were no real users. There were few users, but it didn't impact them too much.
Okay.
That's why we were
Yeah,
that's
that's
why
good.
I
Right.
Yeah,
could take
that's
a
Yeah.
decision. Like, it's not like I can take production level decisions and not
okay.
get screwed, right? So
That's good.
yeah, this snowballed for 72 hours.
And you were
There,
the only person on it, like directly talking to the higher ups.
yeah, me. There were two others, but
Okay.
yeah,
Can't
it was.
disclose.
I can't.
Just
I mean, like people from my team will already know who will, if
yeah.
they see this video, they'll know exactly who are there, who are not there. But yeah, that's when I kind of lost interest also in security. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So like
why
that
why
was
is that?
when. So see when you are the single point of contact, you're also the single point of failure. So it
Yeah.
was my duty to look at the alerts all throughout the night.
Like a
Even though I had
security
to,
guard.
yeah, like a security guard, I have to be all, like, see, attackers can attack at any point of the day. They don't care which time zone you're in, right?
Yeah.
And those guys attacked us at night. What, like nighttime when I was sleeping? How will I know? And the next day when I was looking through the logs, luckily I observed it. If not, I would have completely missed it. And that's when, a lot of times, it could be a blame game, it could be all of those things. It'll
Okay.
start, right?
Yeah.
So especially when you're in incident response or these kind of roles where you are directly dealing with malware and incidents, you have to, it's very toll, it takes a toll on your mental health or work culture, all of that. See, again, it's not the same in every company, right? And some other companies, after your 12-hour shift, you don't care. It's not your responsibility. But one thing that, you should go through this. Every security engineer has to go through this because that is when you um, really get scared about each and every small thing. For
Yeah.
example, like when you go to some other company after this incident, you'll always try to make your environment as secure as possible because you don't want to be up for 72 hours. If you have
Correct.
done the work over
Yeah.
the past 1 year saying that, hey, I will fix this, I will fix this, oh, maybe attackers can come through this route, I'll fix this, I'll patch this, then you don't need to stay up all night. That is the main
Yeah.
motivation for you. If you
Yeah.
have not been through this, you will not realize, and you will just leave it.
Yeah.
So everyone goes through this.
Yeah. So you prepare first, so that way in the
Yeah,
future it doesn't come back to bite you.
correct.
Yeah.
So every manager, right, the amount of pressure they put in security is because of this. They have been up when they were younger, they've been up for 72 hours. That's why they want to make sure that they don't have
Yeah.
to be up that time. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
think at some point when you also turn manager, you'll probably, be doing the same
Yeah, no, I don't think I'll become a manager
for not
if
for
we're still
cyber
alive.
security.
No, I mean you can do two ways, right? You can either be a manager or you can be an individual contributor. So you can in a corporate environment, you can go two ladders are there.
Okay.
You become a engineer, senior software engineer, and then maybe a lead engineer. After that, you get two ways. You can become a staff engineer, which is an individual contributor, or you can become a manager. So manager will just do people management. Individual
Yeah.
contributors like a staff engineer will actually do technical stuff.
Yeah. So you prefer the technical stuff over
Uh,
managing people.
yeah, I don't
Mm.
want to go and fill their like review forms and give them hikes and all that, and
Yeah,
then they will be
that
like,
doesn't
ah, this guy
sound
didn't give me a
interesting.
hike. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
go
it
through
will
all that shit.
ruin relationships also.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we have maybe another minute left. So, just one takeaway, maybe
We don't
something
have Zoom
that
Pro, so we
something
can't.
extremely important that you could condense in 1 minute. Anything, whatever you want to say, unfiltered.
Oh, like related to security,
Or,
security.
yeah, or
Hmm.
Google, or,
I think
anything, whatever
wait.
you
I
think.
think no, no. I think a better question is for like upcoming engineers who are going to write code that is going to go in production and is going to impact so many other employees or customers. So, what would be some basic hygiene steps that they all have to keep in mind when they're writing code at this scale?
Oh, so I'm sure the engineers of the future are going to just do vibe coding.
Yeah,
So
that's
make
the
sure your prompt always has security features in it, or your say the cursor file, right, which you have
Yeah, cursor
on your
rules.
cursor
Yeah,
edit, yeah, cursor rules. Make sure that you have all the security features already enabled in that.
yeah.
There are multiple. We are like I'm personally also building a tool which can help to do that, but there are so many so many ones out there.
it is, right? You're not
Wait.
recording?
Yeah. Yeah.
Brother, we
That
can't
was
do
such
this.
a, you just
We
saved
can't
us.
make this mistake.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my God. Yeah.
because I didn't hear that
Oh, thank you so
message.
much. Thank
Uh,
you so much.
yeah, no, so I think to give a little context, what were we talking about? Yeah, so the thing is, right? Most people from college do not get a job in security.
Yeah,
You don't have placements for security just like that.
so
Like
yeah,
there's no roles like that. Most people who come into security also, it always used to be a set way. It used to be you get into IT. So in now thing that you have to learn is IT is very different from software. Okay,
Yeah,
IT is maintaining your corporate switches, firewalls, networking equipment, laptops, provisioning of a laptop for a employee with all the software, say Zoom license or your Atlassian license, Jira license, all of that is part of IT. Okay.
yeah,
So most people who enter into security is actually IT desktop people. So you would have done IT, hardware management or network management for a couple of years, and then you want to transition into security. Then you move to security. That is the way how traditionally security used to be. But nowadays, more and more people are hiring from as freshers from college, but it's very little compared to the number of software engineers that are placed, right? At back and front and whatever it is. So because of that, not many students will also know, how is it, how does security even work, what you do in the job. They have no idea on it. Whatever they see a little bit on YouTube or from, from whatever sources online, they know from that itself. But it's far from the truth usually. Most of the things that you see online, or most of the people who are passionate about security in college are mostly people who do something, the they do something called bug bounties. Bug bounty
yeah.
is basically you
Capture the
try to
flag, bug
find,
bounty.
correct. So in you try to exploit vulnerabilities in a website from the company, and you get paid a certain amount, and sometimes it can be a good amount, right? So seeing the banner of I made $10,000 this week, most people will enter that thing. And that's not, every job is not like, most jobs are very, very boring. You cannot be on that side of things all the time. It's mostly about this only, like sleepless nights and just working and all of that. It's not just about hacking and all, right? If you want to do that part, you can go to Russia, attack us, well and good. you can make a lot of money from that also. But yeah, so most of the jobs are like this. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of you in security. If you want to become good at it, you need to really know the fundamentals of how systems work, how networking works, all of that. And in most jobs, it is true, but in security, you really, really need to know it because that's when you actually figure out these. And like one great thing in security is that it's like it's like a detective game of sorts, right?
Yeah.
Like I saw this small, alert, and then I dug deeper and deeper and found out how this happened, why it happened, all of that. It took a lot of effort, but then you really learn a lot in that, and you actually, it's very interesting when you don't have the pressure. It's very, very interesting to find these, how that attacker got into your environment because it's never a straightforward answer. It's
Yeah.
never, hi, I got this credential, I got this. It's never like that.
It's
It's
not
like
like the movie.
somehow you got it. It's like you have to
So
exploit
is
a
this like
bunch of
social
things.
engineering? That's like most of the times
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just social
Yeah,
engineering.
that reminds me of a
Um,
question. Is it more of social engineering that's the compromise most of the time, or is it a technical thing? So, like, what's the ratio?
um, Most of it is very, very basic social engineering, like a large attacks which occur. But a lot of it is also
Do you have a percentage in
exploiting,
mind?
not sure on the percentage.
Like, from your
It's
experience?
from my experience. From my experience, it's more exploits, vulnerability
Oh,
exploits than
Okay.
yeah.
social engineering because that is because we have like wherever I've worked, we have put more controls on that social engineering piece because we know that that is the prominent attack vector. So we put more controls over. There are most of the attacks, if like the audience wants to know, is it's not about say there's a firewall. Okay, you cannot just breach a firewall like that. It is not possible. Like in the movies where they say hacking NSA
Yeah,
firewall and then firewall is
yeah.
broken, right? It's not like that. It's impossible. It's impossible to break like that unless what they are doing is exploiting a vulnerability in
In
that.
the
So
firewall
in the firewall, there will be a vulnerability
or
that
a
was,
backdoor.
that
Okay.
was put up by a developer who was making that firewall, right?
Okay.
So it could be during the authentication process, one of the APIs is gone rogue. You can hack that, and then you can get admin access onto the firewall, something like that, right? So it's always certain things that you have to look out for, and even when an attacker is attacking your firewall, he's not going to you most of the time it's not going to be like a blind just go and attack that firewall and try to figure it out. Sometimes they do it, but then most of the time is it's already known exploited vulnerabilities that are there. Each vulnerability that is found by ethical hacker is disclosed to the national vulnerability database that's maintained by the us Homeland or Department of Defense, one of them. So each vulnerability has something called a CVE ID, Common Vulnerability Enumeration ID. So
Okay.
you just have to look for that particular ID in that particular firewall. And there are already tools out there, like you can use something called Qualys or Nessus or Nmap, these tools, which will automatically scan that firewall for these vulnerabilities.
Okay.
It will do that. So there
Is
are
this free or is this like
you can
someone's making
use
money out of it?
Qualys is a paid tool. Nessus
Mhm.
you can use for free. Nmap you can use for free. There's a bunch of others for free also, but
It
obviously with the
sounds
paid
very
versions,
useful
yeah,
to
yeah,
a lot.
it's
Yeah.
that's so you just
That's how people
in
hack to it. That's how
that is
people in
how
an old
that
website.
is
Yeah.
yeah, correct. So what you do is first you go to some old website, you scan that website using first you do something called Nmap, which is like a port enumeration or what. Like you get to know what port is open, first of all. Then you can attack it with either Nessus or you can use Nmap again, and then find out what vulnerabilities could be present in this particular website or firewall or switch, whatever it is, and then you exploit that. And then for that exploit also, you don't need to build your own exploit. There is something called Metasploit,
Already
which
exists.
has the
Yeah.
already pre-built exploits. It's there in
For
Nmap
that
also. So you just
vulnerability. So you just
correct. It's
have the
already there.
ID and then you just search up the ID and you
Correct.
have it.
That's it. It's very, very
So
straightforward. Yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So now, nowadays, obviously, we're all hearing about it. Countries like North Korea, a lot of probably China also, as well as Russia, they all have government aided, funded teams of people who are like constantly hacking different
Yeah.
companies, other governments, other different institutions. Probably sometimes to steal money, sometimes to cause chaos. So I think, don't you think the industry is obviously going to grow a lot more than it has from let's say 2000 to now?
Yeah, but this has been something that is already there from a long time already. So it's not that they started attacking
Not a
recently.
new, yeah.
North Korea, the Russians, Ukrainians, these guys have been doing it from a very, very long time. And it's so well documented that there are already threat actors lists that are there. So we have in security, we have this threat intelligence community, which is built where we assign certain characteristic attack vectors to certain attackers. So when we see that, okay, this particular tool was used and then this particular IP address was contacted, we know that, hey, 100% this guy is a North Korean. Like we know it. Okay. And we have these groups are called APTs, Advanced Persistent Threats. Okay.
Hmm.
And the everyone has a different naming convention. The US just names it like APT 13, 14, 31, like those kinds of thing. But there's a really nice way of describing attackers from a company called CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is one of the largest security companies in the world. If you know,
I'm
yeah, because of the blue screen of death
yeah.
issue, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, I love the company. I don't know why they messed up like that, but yeah. So basically, they have a very nice naming convention. They call each one by a particular animal or an insect that will depend that contains like the country of it. So it could be cozy panda or wizard spider, these kind of cool names.
What's
If you want
Cozy
to,
Panda?
I think cozy panda is
China
Russian.
probably.
One
China.
of the
Oh,
Russians.
Russian.
I
Okay.
Russian.
think I think the wizard spider is a Chinese gang like that. So
Okay.
they have really cool names and like really cool um like icons and images for each one of these attackers. Very nice. You should go check them out. Yeah, but like you can easily get to know who is attacking you in an environment. You can get to know, and most of the time these attacks occur to particular industries also. So like I'm just saying it out, like I don't even know if it's correct, but say for example, Wizard Spider will only attack, say, finance domains. It will not go and they will not go and touch renewable energy. There's another attacking group who will attack only energy domains, and that too energy domains only in the US, like that. So
Hmm.
each national, maybe state sponsored attackers will have that, and each individual attackers will also attack a particular strain, like so these hacks that occur, very on a very small companies, those are individuals who are attacking.
Okay.
But if you want to breach, say, Microsoft, Google, most of the time it is like usually some sort of big threat attack group that is there who is
Like an
attacking you,
APT, most likely.
like an APT,
So
exactly.
maybe these APTs, since they're already on the list, they might find ways, they might want to find ways to not get flagged as, uh, like maybe get
Yeah,
around it.
in fact, like they one of the hacking groups, they released a list. The new meme format of ranking S, A, B, C,
Oh, yeah,
the
Yeah.
yeah,
tier
the tier
format.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah, tier list.
yeah,
Yeah.
the tier list. So one of the hacking groups have put up a tier list of which antivirus is easier to evade during a
Oh,
ransomware attack. So they put that list and made it public. So they've gone to that level.
that's
And
Wait,
great. That's
I think the
yeah,
antivirus company, the one at the S,
really bad for them.
they're probably working
yeah,
together. So it's a paradox now.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it could be hand in hand. I don't know.
Imagine S
Yeah.
rank, maybe for example Kaspersky, but then they've contacted these people and they're working together. Now are they really?
Yeah, and like because of these state-sponsored attackers also, that's the reason why most of the real core security startups come from Israel. In
Okay.
Israel, because they're so many times they get attacked, right?
That, yeah.
Their idea, they have a they have one of the best um, protecting groups. Like their country, what do you call the blue team,
Hmm.
the
Oh,
security team. They become so good at this whole thing that they spin off into making security startups. So
Okay.
they like a lot of the firewall vendors come from there. A lot of the SIM providers come from there. I think even few of the tools from Google also was like some guy who started it from there, like that. So that's the whole nation-sponsored attacks.
do you actually know like exactly how the CrowdStrike thing happened? I remember reading somewhere that apparently while making an update, so there
Hmm.
was a function parameter that they have not specified why during a function call, and that caused everything to just black
I
out.
don't remember exactly what was the reason. It was a memory corruption issue, right? Okay, I'll tell you why it happened even. Okay, so there are most antivirus, or like, I'm not going to say antivirus, EDR. Okay, endpoint detection and response tools. You can run it in two states. You can run it in user mode, user space, or kernel.
Yeah,
So the benefit of running something in kernel space for security is absolutely crazy, because most attacks will occur when you exploit something in memory, or something happens in memory, right? So
True.
what CrowdStrike used to do was they used to sit in user space. Okay, the application used to sit in user space, and it used to sorry it used to sit in kernel space. CrowdStrike. Okay, because of that it is more prone uh, to erroring out and destroying the kernel. But using a new technology called eBPF, most antivirus vendors have moved to eBPF, where eBPF stands for Extended Berkeley Packet Filtering. Basically, it is a way. It is a pre-built module that is built into many of the kernels. And in those kernels, it will allow an application sitting in user space to hook on to the kernel, and then look at all the calls that are happening. It could be DNS, it could be network telemetry, all of that. So it allows you to sit somewhere in the user space and look inside the kernel from like a bird's eye view. And
Yeah.
even if that application crashes, that does not crash the kernel. And anytime you want to modify something in your application, there is the most new Linux kernels already have a feature where it automatically checks whether that eBPF hook is bad or not. If at all it has the potential to break the kernel or break the system, it will not allow it at all. So that's, I think even CrowdStrike is moving to that after this whole incident, but most other companies were already there.
Okay. So that was
Yeah.
one example of something that, we absolutely so much knowledge in that, so much to unpack, so much to understand, right?
eBPF is very interesting. There's so many use cases for it. It's insane. Like, it's not a new topic. It's somewhere 3 4 years old now.
If
But the
Yeah, so yeah, just sorry. So just wanted to ask you if maybe there are like five topics like this. So say there's a cybersecurity student watching right now. What would be some topics, very niche topics like this that they should probably read about and learn, maybe for their interviews, or maybe they get very interested and maybe they want to learn more about it. Some things that
uh,
you like as well. Yeah.
oh, one would be eBPF. Very,
Okay.
very interesting topic. And when you start learning eBPF, you can spin off into all the other things that you want to. For example, supply chain security. Supply chain security is a very vast topic, where like one particular, every application uses open source tools, right? Like
Correct.
some NPM package, some
Yeah.
Python package, like that. What
Yeah.
if that Python package got hacked by a North Korean? this happened.
Okay.
Like one of the very widely known used NPM packages got hacked by a North
Yeah.
Korean attack.
Yeah.
And that those packages are like downstream used in bigger and bigger and bigger applications, and that causes the entire supply chain of applications to be to have malware, right?
Okay.
There was a situation where one of the core libraries in the SSH util,
Yeah.
basically how you SSH into a Linux machine, one
Correct.
of the core libraries in that was compromised. Okay.
Oh, for
And
Linux.
for Linux, which
Oh, some
allowed,
open source contributor.
yeah, which
Oh,
allows
okay.
basically a backdoor entry into
Into
any
system.
open Linux
Oh,
machines anywhere in the world.
So
This
that's
was a
basically any
humongous,
server.
any server,
any
anything in the
server.
world. The way it was even found out, if there is this, I think there is some few videos on YouTube by a guy called Kevin Fang or something like that. But like, if at all, the guy who was debugging this issue wasn't even looking for it. He was debugging some random issue related to process slowness, and he sees that, hey, this SSH is creating too much, is utilizing too much of my memory. Why is that? And then he dug deeper and deeper and deeper and found a malicious package that was installed in SSH. And then he figured out that downstream, every single thing got attacked. And then it was like, again, another nightmare 2 day, 3 days
Yeah.
scenario for all of us in security to go and fix all of this and patch all of this. So that was
So
crazy.
which year did this happen?
Last year or 1 or 2 years
Last
ago,
year?
very recent, very recent.
Oh,
See, but the thing is, good thing is, not every SSH version will get updates, right? So if at all you
yeah.
have not updated to that particular version,
Yeah,
you're not affected. So say the machine is already running and you've not updated to that version, then you're not affected. So
correct.
because of that, a lot of people were lucky. Even bigger than this was a thing called Log4j. It happened 3 years ago. Again, another 3 4 days of sleepless nights. Basically, like, there's a package called Log4j. It's a logging mechanism that is used everywhere in Java. Any application built on Java, which could be a framework like Spring Boot, everything which is built on that uses Log4j as a logging mechanism, and it had a vulnerability that if you attack it with one particular string, it gives you remote access to that machine. So I can just find a server find a website which has this vulnerability. I hit it with that string. I get access to the server which is running that website. Then I can do whatever I want. And the problem, what happened is, this was released. Attackers already started attacking everyone. And then we put preventive controls, and then Log4j is like an open source thing, right? So they will release a patch for it. The next patch also was vulnerable. Then
Okay.
they
Oh.
patched it again, and then that patch also was vulnerable. So that went on for like a week.
But
So
actually,
everyone,
I was going to ask with the Linux one also. Isn't it like super easy to find who was responsible? Because it's all on Git.
correct. It is all on Git, but in Git also there are hacks where I mean, it's just a user, it's just an email address, right? You can figure out who
Yeah,
it is, but how do you know who actually it is? It
yeah.
could be someone called Shashank at gmail.com, but maybe that guy is a Russian, maybe that guy is a North Korean. You can never
Yeah.
No,
say,
but
right? And
I've heard with, especially with Linux, like Linus doesn't allow anybody to come and commit to the project, right?
that is the
So
Linux,
usually,
but that is the Linus takes care of the core Linux features, right? Not the other libraries that are added on top of it. Say
Okay.
curl or Git.
yeah,
Git
Like,
protocol, yeah, Linus owns.
yeah.
But other things he doesn't own, right? So all of those downstream things are also like
yeah, that's why
vulnerable.
supply chain. Yeah,
Yeah.
you,
One of my friends is building a website where he tracks down the shady committers on GitHub. So he tracks
oh,
down which package is built by who and how many vulnerabilities are in that, and then he flags that developer and he ranks them. So if you push out more and more shitty code, you get ranked higher. So people who see you will not use your products like that.
Cancelled.
Yeah,
it won't
Website for
let you commit
cancel.
to.
You should probably add like a tweeting feature. Probably go viral.
correct. Yeah, like eBPF is something that I think you should learn. Using that, you'll learn supply chain security. You should learn. People should really learn how attacks inside a Kubernetes environment, the different attack tactics that an attacker can go through and then get. So it's most of the time you have a website. It's most of the website is not just a plain server, right? It is a pod that is running, a container that is running, and if a attacker say were to exploit say that log4j, right? You don't get access to the host machine. You get access to that container. So that container is supposed to be independent of the host, right? Technically. But there are ways to escape out of that container, escape out of that pod, go on to the host machine, then infect other machines in the network, all of that. So if like people should really try and learn more on that. That is also super interesting. What else? Malware, how Windows malware works. How Windows malware works and how Linux malware works is very different because of
Yeah.
obviously the operating system.
Yeah.
And like there are a few very cool Windows memory forensics tools. I forget the name. You can use something called Velociraptor. There's one Python function for it. Very, very nice. You learn so much into core operating systems. You just take a machine, you deploy the malware, and you try to identify what malware it is, reverse engineer the malware. During that whole process, you learn a lot about how Windows API calls work, how the hooks work. I want to tell you some cool thing, right? There is something called DLL search order hijacking. Okay,
Okay.
very interesting. So basically, what a DLL is. DLL is a dynamic link library which any Windows system will load upon execution of that particular software. So there is one flaw in the way that DLLs are loaded in an application. It
Okay.
loads it from a particular process hierarchy folder structure. It looks in that same folder where that application sits. So your application code is running, and then
Yeah.
you look in that same folder, and then it will look down the chain of those folders, and then it will start from another folder and again look. And if you take a file and you say the DLL file is stored somewhere here in this folder,
Hmm.
because it's checking like this,
So like
if you keep
DFS
a
or depth first?
don't ask me data structure say like basically like it will go like this down and then up, something like that. Okay.
Okay,
Imagine
so
like that,
so it's
like a
like it
file
goes,
structure.
okay, so for example, like the file
or,
structure, it goes like very in depth.
or for simplicity, we'll just say that it goes like instead of the DLL files are stored here. Okay, so this is the
Yeah.
application. DLL
Yeah.
file is stored here, the
Yeah.
actual DLL file. Now,
Yeah.
what an attacker will do is he'll come and keep a DLL file here,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, with the same name.
Okay.
And the application, right, it does not do it. The way that the application will inject the DLL in its own application is via the name of that file. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it's loading the DLL, it will go here,
Uh,
see the attacker's DLL, it will load that
oh,
into
yeah,
memory, and
got
then it
it.
will execute. This was
Yeah.
there in WhatsApp.
Oh,
What's okay?
Yes, in WhatsApp web,
what
I
DLL
got
library is this? Is this UI or something?
DLL library. It's not a UI. It's
Yeah.
like it's just a helper function. Imagine
Yeah.
it's just a helper function for
So
like
actually, the reason I said that is the only exposure we have to DLL is PyQt. The only way
okay,
you can
not
use
sure.
Py. So it's a UI, it's
So
a
like even
Qt version of
yeah, even
for
video
C.
games.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So C Qt is a UI package, right? So Qt
Okay.
in Python is PyQt, and PyQt can only be used as a DLL. So that's where I came across
Okay.
DLL.
Yeah.
Not
So
sure.
that's
Like yeah. In WhatsApp, it use. I don't know if that exploit is still there, but it used to be there
I
where
mean, if you're
the attackers would
mentioning
just
it,
yeah. I mean, it should
I
be.
hope
They
it's
should
not
have
there.
fixed it. No, because I,
Yeah.
I read in one of the blog posts when I was researching about this that WhatsApp does not give a shit about it. So yeah, I mean, like it's so simple, right? You just take a simple DLL file and put it in another file structure, and
yeah.
every single time you have malware,
I mean, maybe
right?
copy the same functionality so you can then have some
Yeah,
malicious code in between.
correct. The way that malware works is insanely amazing. Sometimes you have something called process memory hollowing in malware.
That
Okay,
just sounds so
basically,
cool. Sounds like
yeah,
a
it, it
super
it
move.
is insane. It is insane. You will hollow out the in when an application is loaded into memory, you have your heap.
Yeah.
In your heap, you carve out a portion of the heap and you put your malicious code in that heap. Okay.
Okay.
Thereby, whenever that application runs in memory, it will always pass through that heap structure and it will execute that malware. And you will not be able to find it
Find
at
it.
all because
Yeah.
it's running in memory. When you look at the process that is running it, you will see notepad.exe is running. But inside notepad.exe, someone has hollowed out the actual code for notepad.exe
But
and
put this.
put his malware in that.
So Notepad
Insane,
won't be
right?
working, right?
No,
Like
no,
hollowed out
Notepad
the
will
code.
work. Notepad also will work. That's the thing.
That's
Like there's so
insane.
many
That's
software like that.
crazy.
Like you can have a game that you downloaded, and in that certain functionalities will be carved out and malware will be put over there. So when you
So,
when the
okay.
when
So, I really like this topic because I'm someone who pirates games a lot. For example, I
Mhm.
got this Mac and I've played like I'm not sure if you're a gamer as well. Like so maybe
uh,
on no, okay, so anyway, so there's this special game, Bloodborne, which is made only for the PS4. And someone's written the entire PS4 operating system and everything, like everything the way it works in C++ from scratch, so that they're able to run this game on it.
like an emulator, is it?
Emulator. It's an
Emulator,
emulator.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
I
see, be very careful of downloading these things from the internet because most of like might be naive also, but then sometimes it will have like proper proper malware in it,
yeah.
and you will
What's the
not even
worst?
be
No,
able
Okay,
to.
actually,
okay. I want to
how
understand
would we
what's the
find
worst
out?
that could
Yeah.
happen. Wait, that's
No,
another
before
question
that,
as well.
before that,
Okay.
that comes after that. How
Okay.
would we find out if something is
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah.
How would you find out? Not possible for you to find. Because see, like your game is running, game is taking up 90% of your CPU. If 1% increases, will you notice? No, you will not
No.
notice, right?
Yeah.
You will basically you're blind to it. Imagine you have like a car racing game, and then at one checkpoint, it will start the malware. It can happen like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you will not see it at all. And when that starts, it will run in the background and it will execute, maybe copy all your files, go to your browser and take all your credentials, cookies, and steal that. All of those things will happen, right? And you'll not even notice all that.
Does your PC
Even
not let stuff like this? Like, is it actually that fragile?
see,
Easy.
Mac Mac systems are better, I would say, because lesser malware is written for Mac. Okay, because Mac was always like it's more expensive, right? So less
Niche.
people
Third
used to
spot.
use
Yeah.
it, and most companies also used to
So it's
use
not it's
Windows. So
not
most
something
malware.
special that Apple's doing. It's
No, no. It's
No, no,
just
no.
yeah.
lesser malware is there. So more malware is there
Yeah.
for Windows, and it's been there for long, right? So Windows malware, Windows Defender does to a good extent, but most malware files are like how they identify the file is via the hash value of that file. Okay, so you take that file and you compress that to say using SHA-1, SHA or MD5, whatever, get a hash value and take that hash value and check, okay, this file was downloaded onto my system. Is this hash available in my malware database? If yes, flag it as malware. That's all it does. Most
Okay.
antivirus,
Yeah.
Kaspersky, Norton, all of that does this. If you want to do memory forensics, process memory hollowing, and then you inject malware in that and you identify that
Yeah.
malware, that is something that things like CrowdStrike does. CrowdStrike, Sentinel. Normal people cannot afford
But
those,
yeah.
right? So for normal people, better not
Our
to download.
antivirus, yeah, but
Yeah.
our antivirus is for consumers. That's does the same thing as Windows Defender, right? So it's not of any use.
Windows Defender is better. It does a
Better
little bit
than
of
and
memory.
like other antiviruses.
Norton,
Casper key or
Kaspersky.
some,
So you would
Yeah,
you
yeah,
would
those are very
definitely
annoying.
like if you for your family member or something like that, if they told you, hey, I want to buy this antivirus, you would completely
Ignore, right?
recommend.
I don't even use an antivirus on my laptop
Yeah,
because
makes sense.
there's no point for like there's no point in using that bloated software which just hags
100%.
all the time, right?
Yeah.
No point. Like
So
if
as a
I'm going to get hacked, I'm going to
cybersecurity
get.
expert, you know that these antiviruses they're not really going to help you more than defend.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't. Yeah, I just
Crazy
don't
how their
download
business model,
shady stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
their
more
business
targeted towards
people who are
the.
naive, right?
Yeah, I mean, see, it will help to a certain extent, right? Because people are not going to get infected with this process memory hollowing malware all the time.
Yeah, yeah,
It's more like stupid normal malware that is there,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
it's to an extent it's okay,
But why
but
don't the hackers make more process memory hollowing malware? Because if that's so
it's
powerful, they
there.
do it for
Like
a regular consumer.
no financial motive, right? If you attack company with this, more benefits.
Yeah,
Attacking an individual, what you'll steal from him? You'll steal his
max,
photo and details. Like
and
it's
that's
not a
even for
huge
that.
amount,
Yeah.
so it's not a big deal.
But I think at a
So
large scale, if you might be able to, if you infect enough users, you might be able to
Yeah,
do
even I
something.
always had this thought. I don't know why why people don't do it, but it's
maybe it
way
is being
easier
done
to
and we are not
Maybe,
aware
no,
of
no,
it.
I think
and like
Shashank's gonna
most. I
live.
think
Shashank's gonna live
I think
too long to. He's gonna turn into the villain
all
hero.
I think is it's way easier to just send a phishing mail and call. That call center scam is more easier than putting mal. So I think we don't have time.
Yeah, less than a
Uh,
minute. It was really nice talking to you, Shashank. I know that this
well,
Yeah.
editing is gonna be amazing. You had like very good energy. We loved it. Thank you so much for your time.
thank you, man. It was very fun.
Thank you. Hopefully this is the first of many.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, very nice talking to you guys.
Thank
Very
you so
nice.
much, Shashank.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you.
Thank you.
Ciao. Ciao.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.